guys, how you doing? Welcome to Warlord Wednesday, and today we're going to be weathering up this tank because somebody asked me and I always like to oblige. So keep an eye at the end of the video because there's a nice little surprise at the end where we get an exclusive look at one of the new kits that are coming out, and I'll see you guys very soon. Howdy guys, and welcome back. Okay, so what have we got? Well, we've got our main turret here. We're going to be using MIGs. And it's the olive drab light base, which is an acrylic colour, which I absolutely love. I've got to say, I'm really getting into my MIG paints now. I'm going to take a sponge like I've got here. I'm just going to dab it slightly so all the excess paint's gone. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on just working, let me just move that out of the way, just working on the lower edge like so. Okay, so I just want you to focus on that. Now you can make it as heavy or as light as you like, because we're going to be adding another colour over the top of that. Let's just move that out of the way so it's a bit better. There we go. So don't worry if this doesn't come out how you like straight away, or you're a bit worried that it's not looking how you imagine it's gonna look like, I should say, because it will get there. Okay, so we're just now going to work our way along the edges like so. Just bring that around. It's a really lovely technique is sponging. I've got to say I love it. Let's just get rid of some of the excess on there. Okay, let's bring that around and we can just follow that along the top. Howdy guys, and welcome back. Okay, so we're just going to take our sponge again. We're just going to dab off the excess that we have, and what we're going to do is we're going to start underneath the turret. Well, I say underneath, on the ridge, and we're just going to work our way around that. And you know, don't be afraid to grab any bits that would kind of stick out as well. We're trying to grab all the ridges we can, so along the back there, and around the sides. And we're going to do the same again, just do it to there. Let's follow that round like so. Okay, now we're also just going to follow areas where people are going to be climbing up onto it, and I kind of, anywhere where it's going to be used a lot, which is kind of cool. Okay, and around here, around the edges, around there. Let's just grab some more, just tap that off. We're going to go around here. Howdy guys, welcome back. Okay, so by now that should be dry. It's very warm here, so it's drying quite quickly. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next step, which is to add just a little bit of rust onto it. So for that I'm going to be using MIG acrylic colour track rust, or rust tracks. It's really good for basically just doing, that's what I use on my tracks, by the way, but it's also really good for just sort of adding that breakup colour which we want to stand out a bit. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just dabbing it lightly over the top, and I'm not going to go everywhere with this. I'm just going to go in certain places. So I'm just going to bring that along. So basically all we're doing is just adding little spots of rust here and there, nothing major, and it really does, as you can see, really does break that up. So we've gone from a dark green to a light green with a little bit of rust there, just to help break it up just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go around and do the same on the other side. Let's just get a better grip with that because it's shaking all over the place. A lot of you have noticed that I have very shaky hands, and it makes painting interesting. But as I've got older, they've got more shakier. So I tend to grip quite tightly. That just sounds weird. Okay, so I'm just going along the top and just grabbing underneath there as well, just because I kind of like this look. I know a lot of people don't like the sort of like dirty used tank look. It's something I favour. I just feel it really makes the whole thing pop out and makes it look really, really cool. It just makes it look different, basically. It makes it look worn and torn. It makes it look used, lived in. Although I know a lot of tanks wouldn't get to this state, but I'm just kind of makes it look nice. Okay guys, welcome back. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit of metal over the top of the rust now. Now I know what you're going to say, oh that's too much, but it's not, because we're going to go really, really light with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just using MIG, it's a MIG metal, like a gunmetal. You can use whichever you like. I'm just going to basically just go in here and there and just add like bits of metal. Now it's hardly noticeable, but it is there, and it really does give it a better look when it's on there as well, because it just makes it sort of stand out. Now we're missing obviously the oxide colours that go on over the top of it and all that sort of stuff, but it really does make this pop out a little bit better. I like using that word pop when you use this. So I'm going to continue, I mean, just to sort of show you, I mean, it's, there we go, you can't really see it too much, but it's definitely there, and it just sort of, it complements the lighter, the darker, and then the metal effect works really well with it. So I'm going to finish this off in the turret and the tracks, and I'll see you guys in a second. Howdy guys, and welcome back. Okay, so everything's done. We've done our turret, we've done the hull, and we've also done the tracks. Now the best part comes along where we get to do the wash. Okay, so for that I'm using if I can just get it off the table, there we go, a brown, this is my premix bottle or tub, whatever you want to call it. Basically this is brown and black wash mixed together. You can tell it's been well used and abused. I've had this for like 3 years, so yeah, it doesn't stay very tidy for very long, but I tend to mix my wash up in that. Now you can either airbrush it on, you can paint it on. We're going to paint ours on and we're going to work from there, so I'll see you guys in a second. So we're going to take a number of cotton buds and we're just going to bring it down like that. So just scrape it down like so. Now we're trying to create, which you can do with effects anyway, that marvellous sort of weathered rain effect. You know, like when you see like where dirt runs down the side and when it dries it leaves like little lines and stuff. That's what we're trying to create like this. So what we're doing is just take away some of this. Let's get rid of this cotton bud. You do go for a lot of cotton buds, I definitely do. Okay, so what we're trying to do is get that same effect, and if we can just try and keep it quite straight as well. And there we go. Can you see that? That's what we're after. So I'm going to finish off the rest of this and clean it up, and then we're going to come back to it and have a look at it once it's dried. So I'll see you guys in a second. Howdy guys, and welcome back. Okay, so we've done our chipping effect, we've done our wash over the top, and it's come out quite nicely. Now we wanted to get those sort of like grim sort of like grimy streaks and stuff on the tank, and that's what we've got, as you can see just there. And it's also brought out a chipping as well, and it's giving it an overall a really lovely effect. So once that's dried, you're happy with it. I've then gone in and I tend to use acrylic varnish by Humboldt. Now that's a really good varnish. It's a matte varnish. It gives it a lovely effect, and that's before I go in to add any of the weathering liquids and powders. I like to get the varnish on first. Okay guys, welcome back, and for this we're going to be using MIG's pigment fixer, which we've got there, and we're also going to be using MIG's dark earth weathering powders. Now I did say a while back I hardly use weathering powders, but for this process somebody asked me if I could do a video where I'm using weathering powders, so today I'm going to do that. So first of all we're going to hit the tracks, and we're going to concentrate in the interior sections where the hull is in the background just there, connected to the tracks. But to do this, what we do is we just pop out our pigment fixer, and let's just keep that there. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take a brush and we're just going to coat the inside area like so, not worrying about the actual tracks just for now. Let's just focus on the background, because that's what we're trying to work on at the moment. That's our focus, so to speak, the background. So we just give it a healthy dose, let that go in there like so. Make sure you wash off your brush, because the last thing you want to be doing is adding dirt and stuff like that to it, and all sorts of horrible bits and pieces. You need a dry brush for this next process, so it always helps to have a few brushes you can play around with, and for that I'm going to be using this brush. Now I'm just going to put the lid back on, because the last thing I want to do is knock it all over, because it does happen. Okay, so we're going to take out our pigment, which is dark earth. Now you can use anything you like for this. Just stipple it in there, okay, like so. That's it, just keep stippling it in, because you put like a nice healthy dose in there. It should stick quite nicely. There we go, and we're going to do the same for the other side. Don't worry if you get it all over the place, it's not an issue at the moment. And then we'll do the same there. Okay, so I'm just going to shake that off. Okay, so that's what we're looking at the moment. So we've just got to let that dry for a bit, and then we'll be back to add another layer. So I'll see you guys in a second. Howdy guys, and welcome back. Okay, here we have the hull. So we're just going to take some of our weathering pigment, and what we're going to do is we're just going to let it run around the sides like so. What we don't want to do is we're not putting it everywhere, we're not coating the whole thing. We're just trying to get it into gaps where we need it, and if you go over the top, just wash it away. Okay, so we're going to take our weathering pigments and we're just going to tap it in like so. Let's just get rid of the excess. Okay, and what we want to do is I'm just going to take that and just clean that off. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. And again, just clean off areas that you don't want it on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our weathering pigment fixer, or liquid fixer, or whatever you want to call it. I can't talk today. And we're just going to go around the edge, let it soak in. You can see there, just Just let that seal. Now you'll notice we're putting it in areas where we're not really going to handle, which is important because weathering powder has a tendency to come off when handled. It's really only good for, you know, showpieces or dioramas and, you know, model making, basically general model making stuff. So try not to put it in areas where you're going to handle it all the time. And plus, you know, dust, mud, it all collects in these areas, so it's worth just having a look-see. Okay, let's do the same again. Let's just add another layer. And we'll take our thin cotton bud and clean that up there. Okay, so we're starting to build up layers, and this is what you want to do. You don't want to go too balmy with it. We just need enough to show that there's dirt in the gaps and stuff. And then let's just take our brush and we'll just do the same again. Just seal it up. Like so. We're starting to build up a nice layer. Okay, so that's how you pretty much do it. I'm going to continue on with the weathering powders, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come back to it when we add in our oil effects. So I'll see you guys in a minute. Howdy guys, and welcome back. Okay, so this is the stage you should have it at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take a look at that. Now I've stuck the turret on the top. Because I'm not going to be moving the turret around, I'm happy for it to be stuck in. I generally don't move the turrets around too much when I'm playing. We just sort of like set the tape measure from where we think, you know, on the hole where it should be basically. Which is pretty lazy really, or we just turn the vehicle around. But that's the way we've always done it. Okay, so as you can see, we've got our mud in there, around the edges and around there. Now it's a build up where we want it, sort of like a sort of dirty, dusty build up, which works really nicely. And once we get the minis on there, that'll really add to it, give it a sense that it's constantly climbed up and down on and walked about and stuff like that across the hull and stuff. So the next step is to add our oil. So I'm just going to put that there for a second. Now we're going to be adding in MIG's fresh oil. It's engine oil, which is really, really good, fresh engine oil. Now I use this for pretty much everything. It's such a cool product. Now there's tons of different varieties out there that do exactly the same. The only reason I got this one is because I like the colour. And you're going to say, what? But I like the colour. But what we're going to do is we're just going to go around where the bolt is that connects up the wheel, and just on the inside there before we do the back. And we're going to do the same around there. Howdy guys, and welcome back. So we've managed to put our tracks on. We've added in our little effects that we wanted to add in. So a nice little thing to do is add a little bit of oil at the back. It soaks into the mud and it gives it a lovely, lovely effect. Okay, so we've added all the bits and pieces that we wanted to add to this. We're now, look at my shaky hands, that's insane, isn't it? I was surprised I managed to do anything at all. Okay, so now we're going to add some oil around little bits and pieces, little areas and stuff like that, just to jazz it up. You notice that I haven't put any guns and stuff on the top of this yet. Haven't added the crew because we're going to look at the crew next week, and we're going to add some bits and pieces. But for now, I'm just going to add a little bit of our fresh oil from MIG. Now, there's a lot of other products out there that do the same thing. I said this before, but I do like the colour. Okay, so let's just grab some, and we're just gonna put it in around there. Let's just make sure we've got some in our brush. Here we go. Let it just drift around there, which is quite nice. That'll meld into the dirt that we have around there as well. Give that a really nice look. There we go, absolutely spiffy. Okay, I'm just going to add that on there. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to add in the inside of here. Again. And we're going to add it in there. Like so. And what we can do is we can look where we would have oil drums and fuel canisters, but there's none on here at the moment, so I'm just gonna add a bit of spillage just around there, let that soak into the dirt, and that'll suit us down to the ground. So we're pretty much done. The next step is to look at how we can add crew. Let's just put that aside. Let's just put that in the water. We're going to talk about how we can add crew to this. So we're going to be converting some crew up, so we have something like this, and we'll add to that and play around with it. So the idea is to represent this on there as well, but you know, different poses, guys doing different things, and we'll add some extra bits and pieces on there, maybe add some stowage as well, who knows. Howdy guys, and as promised, here's a little bit of a secret, sneaky little look at something right at the end of the video, and I'm here with Rich D.
Hello.
And today we're going to be looking at, what is this?
This is the sprues for our plastic Sherman 5, which is released, I think, around about now. This is obviously the Sherman 5, so this is the British sort of variant of the Sherman. We've had the American Sherman out for quite a while in plastic, and now the long-awaited British version is out.
And I've got to say, I'm really excited about this. Now, how does this differ from the American sprue to the British sprue?
There's a number of different sort of visual differences, I suppose. One of the key ones is the sort of front panel here, which has the sort of iconic sort of ribbed pieces with the big rivets down the side. That's one of the big features. Also, there are track guards included here, I think, if you can see.
Yeah.
Which again is a big feature because they're obviously used over in the desert. And things like the cullen prong is a nice feature as well. So there's a few kind of key iconic different bits and pieces to differ from the American version.
And it also, actually, the actual kit itself is a little bit different as well, because we actually on the American bit there's a big open patch there,
yep.
But this has a sealed slot area here.
Yes, yeah, they're entirely new sprues. These aren't sort of different variants of the American version. These are entirely, you know, built from the ground up sprues for the Sherman 5, entirely different.
And I've got to say, these are really, really nice.
Yeah.
So what variations can you do with this?
This is just the Sherman 5. So yeah. The options here are that you can put the track guards on or not if you want to. There is also another sprue being currently worked on, which will be out very, very soon, which gives you a different variant, let's say, on the Sherman 5. But for now, this is just British Sherman 5.
This is really, really nice. And I've got to say, there's loads of different new features on this as well.
We've put in as many options as we can. Things like, say, the cullen prong, which for those who don't know, it's essentially a hedgerow cutter that they developed from the... they took the German beach obstacles and carved them with big plasma cutters, essentially, and made these to get through the Normandy bocage. Also, as I say, the sand guards are unique to the Sherman 5, I believe.
Yeah.
We've also got two different British tank crew here as well for you.
So you've got these two guys just there.
Yep, two different options there, so a bit of variation. Things like, you know, plastic 30 cal in there as well as, you know, options to have open hatches, closed hatches, all that kind of thing. So we've put as much sort of thought and effort in as we can to give you as many different little visible differences you can include. Because
I've got to say, it's a really nice build, and there's some really lovely pieces on here as well. I love the fact that the hatches are open, because that always helps with making your pieces really individual as well. Yes, yeah. And it's a really beautiful kit. Let's just have a quick look at these guys. We just move these to the side. Let's just take a look at them all painted up. Now, from what I know of, we have the Normandy version and we have the Burma version here. Yeah. So it allows you to make two different versions up for your forces, hatch down, hatch open and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So the Normandy version, we've included things like the cullen prong, which is obviously quite specific to Normandy, getting through the hedgerows.
So cool. This looks so cool.
Yes, yeah. And say on the Burma version, essentially, we've got the track guards there to you know, block extra things getting into the tracks. And
I've got to say, it's amazing how, and I'm just going to, hopefully the turret won't fall off. It should be stuck in it.
Yes, yeah.
It's amazing how just slight differences actually give you a completely different appearance.
A very different beast.
Yeah. I mean, because we all know our sort of angled front Shermans. I mean, just having this like the rib section within these is just totally wonderful. Yeah, a real total different variation.
And again, you'll see things like we've got spare road wheels, we've got spare running gear, things like that. Again, tied on there as sort of stowage and extras and bits and pieces.
And even like the little handles as well.
Yep, they're all modelled on there in plastic separately as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
This is what I've always wondered about. What are these sections here at the back? They look like little bottles.
You've got extra bits and pieces that looks like... I'm not certain of that, to be honest. But yes, there's all sorts of bits and pieces. Again, we've gone through an absolute trove of historical photos to get all different reference and bits and pieces. So we've included as much as we can on these, yeah.
These are really, really nice.
Again, spare track links on the front there, against a bit of extra armour.
Yeah.
So this one, again, a bit more stowage and a bit more extras on there.
Yeah, and I suppose these front panels were for the extra armour, basically, just to protect the gunner and the driver.
Yeah, just around the hatches, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Really, really nice. And I've got to say, even the little plastic guy at the top in the hatch there just looks really nice.
Yeah,
really well painted as well. Okay, so guys, I hope you like that. We're going to have some more little sneaky peeks very soon. Keep an eye out for the end of the videos where you'll see these popping up. So Rich, thanks very much.
Thank you.
And I'll see you guys later.